One question that I get asked often is the Irish language difficult to learn? As I talked about in my last video, quantifying what difficult is and what easy is when it comes to learning languages is a little bit tough sometimes. But I do think that the Irish language is quite tough if you're coming from English or another European language. The reason why that is because there are a lot of things that happen in the Irish language that you don't see so much in other European languages. For example, most of the time in languages, to change the grammar of a word, to change its grammatical function, to make it singular, plural, to change a verb conjugation, we generally change the ending of the word, right? If I say, I speak, he speaks. If I say one car, two cars. Obviously there are exceptions to this in English, right? I can say one man, two men, and it's not the ending of the word that's changing, but it's the middle of the word, it's the vowel sound. But in the Irish language, a lot of grammatical information is relayed by a changing consonant at the beginning of the word, normally with some kind of sound shift, particularly lenition. And I think that concept is hard for people that speak European languages to think about a lot because, as I said, there aren't so many European languages that change grammatical information by changing a sound at the beginning of a word. And to give you an example, right, if we take a name like Seamus, which I guess would be translated into James in English, Seamus is the name of a person, right? But if I'm addressing a person named Seamus directly, then I have to use a different case, which is not a foreign concept in European languages. Plenty of European languages have cases. But to change the grammar of Seamus, if I'm addressing Seamus directly, I have to say a Hamish. So changing that sh to a h at the beginning to show this vocative case, it's something that you don't see happening in European languages, as I said before. Beyond that, there are other things that are a little bit confusing to get in line. One thing that I see in the Celtic languages that I don't see happening in European languages is the conjugation of prepositions, which means that if I have a word like lum, which means with me, it's all together. The word with is le, and then I have me, and when I put them together I get lum. If I want to say with you, I say lat. So to see that preposition conjugated basically like a verb, it's something that's a little bit tricky to wrap your head around, and it's something that can be very tough when you're learning the language, particularly because these preposition forms are used all over the place in Irish, so it's kind of impossible to get around them. Beyond that, you don't see that many words in Irish that come from Romance languages. I should say there are a lot of words that come from Latin. You can see words that come from Latin all over the place, particularly in the realm of, religion. The Irish language borrowed a lot of words that come from Latin when it comes to religion. But to have these kinds of very basic conversations, very basic verbs, very basic nouns, you don't see that many words that come from a Romance language, so you can't really see a common root, or you can't even try to venture a guess at words sometimes. When people that are speaking English start learning Spanish, sometimes they can kind of guess at words, and it might sound silly, but actually sometimes it might be right when they're trying to make these kinds of guesses, because there is this common root in English, where we use a lot of words that come from Latin, and so does Spanish. I would say it's kind of impossible to do that sometimes in Irish, to kind of guess at a basic verb, noun, or expression in Irish just based on your knowledge of English or a Romance language, because most basic words in Irish do not come from Latin. Another question I get often asked is, what does the Irish language sound like? The Irish language sounds pretty foreign to people that speak English. And oftentimes when I speak it, people will guess that it sounds a lot like German. I personally do not think it sounds that much like German. I think the only reason why people associate with German is because it does have that kind of h sound in it that you do see a lot in German, or that people associate a lot with German. It's in a lot of languages, but the concept of that h sound, often we as English speakers associate it particularly with German.
Met you Claire on television?
Yeah.
Did you get her? I saw her in Woodfield of Quail and so.
Did you car her?
Captain does it go well? Tá faoilech, go does the Coney and so. Dear Hutch. Is you come on? Come here. Don't stop us. Need him row. Come does the Coney and so.
So I can speak a little bit of Irish for you right now. My Irish is not fantastic, but I can hold basic conversations and I can usually form basic sentences without any difficulty. So I can say Diaghiv, Shosaph Sanam Dom, Agus Miss Malama Vea Large Naguelga, Agus Cha. So that's a few sentences for you in Irish. I just said, hi everyone, my name is Joseph and I like to speak Irish. As you can see, there are really no words in that sentence that correspond with English or Romance languages. So it really is a completely foreign language. As I said, it's not in the same branch at all as English or Romance languages. So it is a beautiful language. I really do have a lot of passion towards it, especially when it comes to music. The Irish music tradition is very strong. And I do hope that it survives, and I think that it will beyond my lifetime. I don't think that Ireland is going to go from speaking English as a primary language to Irish any point in the future, unless something very crazy happens when it comes to legislation in the country. But I do think that for now it's well preserved. I do think that younger people are finding a lot of pride in speaking the language. I hope this video cleared up some questions that you might have about the Irish language. And for more videos about language related topics, subscribe to my channel Mappa Mundi Languages to see a video like this every Friday.